History lesson part 2, Monday the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. So in a Victorian school, all the children would be put in together, all different ages, and there might be 40 or even 70 or 100 pupils in the same room. Now the classrooms had very, very high windows, and this was to stop children looking out of the window. Whereas we encourage you to look at nature and to see about the world around you, they didn't want that to happen. They just wanted you to learn cold off a sheet. The teacher would say things and you would repeat them. School would start at 9 a.m. and children would go home at 12. Sounds all right. And then they came back at 2 p.m. and they were at school until 5 p.m. This is what the Victorian teachers looked like, and this is the kind of board that men would wear on their head. Sometimes called a mortarboard, but that's more of a nickname. And if you look at things like the Beano, you might see that the teacher from that still wears this kind of thing. Very, very old-fashioned. Male teachers were called Sir, and female teachers Madam, if they were married, or Miss. In schools, pupil teachers would help. That's a little bit like having peer teaching today. And when they walked into the room, they would have to bow to the teacher, or if they were a girl, they would have to curtsy. Now, in Victorian days, this is a cane or a walking stick. I use this now as a counting stick, but this is what was used by teachers to be punished. Now, it wasn't just punished for if you misbehaved. You could be punished for getting things wrong as well. And the teacher would whack you across the back of the hands or your bare legs. Now, an even worse punishment, and just embarrassing for children, was the dunce's cap. If you didn't do well on your test, they would make this hat out of rolled up newspaper and they would be ridiculed at the front of class. The idea was that children would be so embarrassed that they just wouldn't want to be dunces. But now we learn now we know that's not how children learn. You know, you shouldn't punish people if they can't learn. You should try and help them. Okay, this is also another way that my dad and my grandma were punished at school. So this is how long this went on for. This thick leather strap's called a tawse. And really, really badly children were hit with this leather strap. And some were put in a wicker basket and left suspended for the entire morning, terrified in a basket. Now, some people would get lines to do as punishment. We don't do that kind of thing now. Even in detentions, we have a reflection to help you think about how you can make things better. Okay. As I was saying, the teacher would talk and you would listen and you would copy whatever the teacher wrote on the board. The 3 R's: reading, writing and arithmetic. Some children would have studied history and geography, but there was no national curriculum. And then the class was split. Boys would get to do woodwork and the girls would have to learn to cook or sew, because it was very, very gender biased in those days. Now, their version of PE was called drill. Drill involved all the children lining up in rows and they would march or jog on the spot. Actually, drill is quite good fun sometimes to do it, but not if you need to do it every day in the pouring rain. Okay, here you can see this boy has a slate and a slate pencil. The idea, a little bit like your whiteboards, was that you could use it again and again. There were no exercise books. Obviously, there were no computers. But older children, once they got their pen license, yes, pen license, they would write in ink in copybooks, not that dissimilar to your jotters now. You would have to use a special kind of cursive writing called copperplate. It's not that much different to joining up now. However, if you were left-handed, you'd be forced to write with your right-handed. Left-handed people, they thought that it was the devil's work, which is an unusual thing, but you would be forced to write with your right hand. And this continued in some church schools right the way up until the 1970s. I was born in the 1970s, in the late 1970s. I just got to show you, how long some of these practices did continue. Also in a Victorian classroom, they had abacuses instead of calculators. And you might have seen a big map and globes. Not that dissimilar to the big world map that I have in my class now. Other than that, there would be no displays, nothing on the walls. They didn't want to overexcite you. You'd have to memorise everything. Okay. What I'd like you to do next is to do a little bit of your own research. Can you look on horrible histories? Just type in Victorian school into horrible histories. There's at least 3 or 4 really, really good videos there. And also another place to search is BBC Bite Size. What I want you to do, once you've done that, over a double page, is to do a comparison of schools between 1895 and now. Here I've put reading, writing and arithmetic were the only subjects and only on Sundays. And whereas now in 2020 there's lots more subjects, art and science. I've also put a few points here just to start you off on some of the things in 1895 for you to compare to now. I would like you to find at least 7 differences between what school was like in 1895 and what school is like today in 2020. Okay, kids, good luck. I hope to see some really, really good comparisons over double pages. Have a wonderful Monday. Catch you soon.